Am I the arsehole for falling asleep during a movie? My 23F boyfriend 29 recently moved in with me. So we have been watching a lot of movies, and today when it was my turn to pick, he wanted to pick and then he convinced me to watch the movie. Honestly, the movie was so boring I fell asleep during it and woke up alone in the morning and my neck hurt like hell. When my boyfriend came down, I asked him why he didn't wake me up, and he told me that I shouldn't have slept in the first place and that he feels like I don't love him since I'm neglecting him like this. Didn't know falling asleep meant neglecting. I said I was just sleepy, and now my neck hurts from the position I was in, and he told me that I shouldn't have slept, and now he's mad at me and won't accept my apologies. AITA.
NTA. He sounds awful and manipulative. First he talked you out of picking a movie even though it was your turn to do so, then he punishes you for not liking his choice. Please consider if he acts this way about other things. You deserve better.
Not the asshole. Definitely a red flag the way you describe the situation. Also, even if it bothered him that you fell asleep, he shouldn't be just leaving you to get a sore neck. Strange in the first place that he insisted on picking a movie when you were going to pick one.
Not the asshole. How do I say this politely? Your boyfriend is an EDR. First, he overrode your choice of movies for one that clearly did not hold your interest. Second, when you fall asleep, this somehow constitutes neglecting him. Third, he then proceeded to actually neglect you by abandoning you on the couch for the night as some form of punishment. Take this as the red flag it is and dump this guy. Not the asshole. Sometimes people fall asleep during movies. It's not usually a personal attack on anyone, and if he wanted you awake he should have, woken you up. Also, you apologized.
I'm not the asshole and he acts like baby. It happens, you fell asleep, no big deal. Was it like his favorite movie or something?
Not the asshole. I'm the kind of person to fall asleep during movies too. It's hard sometimes. I understand he was upset, but when he realized you were upset he had infinite better options. Keep watching the movie to completion, then wake you up to go to sleep in bed. B. Pause the movie and woken you up to see if you were interested in finishing it that night. C. Decided it was just time to call it for the night, and woken you up to just go to bed and sleep. You didn't do anything on purpose and he should be more understanding. On the flip side, maybe you could express that the movie isn't engaging, and either find a way to make it more fun, or suggest you watch something else. But still, not the asshole.
Not the asshole, but your boyfriend is lol WTH. What kind of emotional manipulation is he trying to pull here? Don't let him guilt trip you. Slight red flag in my opinion. Nip it in the bud.
Not the asshole. Who cares if you fall asleep? Everyone does.
Not the asshole at all. Does falling asleep mean you don't love him? Does he usually pout over stuff like this?
Not the asshole. Falling asleep on the couch is normal. He is being petty.
Why not the arsehole? It happens. Half the people I've watched a significant about if time watching movies have fallen asleep at some point. I've fallen asleep watching movies by myself.
Not the asshole. This dude sounds like an absolute child.
Not the asshole. Leave him.
Not the asshole. Your boyfriend being older should be more mature. The way he responded and is making a big deal out of nothing and trying to manipulate you emotionally is a huge red flag. If it's the first issue of this kind, sit him down for a conversation. If you have had similar issues with little things like this, maybe rethink about the kind of partner you want. Info: this can't be the whole story. Is there more?
Out of curiosity, what was the movie? Lol. Not the asshole. I fall asleep watching movies all the time. Your boyfriend sounds very insecure and needs to realize that not everything is about him. Even if the movie was boring, sometimes a person is just tired and will fall asleep. The trick I use to stay awake during a movie is to do something at the same time, like a mindless phone game like solitaire, but something makes me think he would be just as offended by that. Not the asshole. Personally, I have a whole catalog of films I've slept through, best sleeping pill ever. I am wondering, though, if perhaps you two have set up a situation where you are relying on the films to keep things perking along in your relationship? Watching them, discussing them, arguing about them, whatever. It happens easily sometimes, and if that is what is going on, you're not following through with the routine could become more of a problem than it should. Try going a week without films and see how that goes. Read out loud to each other or quietly to yourselves, go for a walk, play a card game, try to disrupt the movie routine and see how it feels and how it works. Talk about it. It is easy to toss his reaction aside, but there is likely a reason for it. Best to try to work it out sooner rather than later. Not the asshole. Your boyfriend is being ridiculous. Would like info, though. What movie? I've been having trouble sleeping lately, maybe it'll help.
Not the asshole. Myo often falls asleep during movies, whether I've picked it or he has. If you need to sleep, then you should sleep. I always wake him when I realize he has fallen asleep and convince him to go up to bed. A sore neck isn't good for anyone. What your boyfriend did was mean and calculated. I would ask what other petty grievances he plans on punishing you for.
Not the asshole. You were sleepy, the movie was boring and therefore you feel asleep. He can't get mad at you for having normal human body reactions. Would he sulk if you needed to pee during the movie?
I once fell asleep and my then boyfriend accused me of pretending to sleep so I could avoid having sex with him. You need to realize this likely will escalate. Oh, and not the asshole. How could you possibly be anything but not the asshole? Sad face.
Hello gaslighting. Location flag, location flag, location flag. Not the asshole. GTFO.
Not the asshole. Red flags. Red flags everywhere.
Not the asshole. I had a boyfriend once who would yell at me for falling asleep in the car because he assumed I was sleeping on purpose to avoid talking to him. Like I could control my circadian rhythm to piss him off. It didn't get better and it didn't last. Literally, his therapist said to him once that if I get sleepy it just means I'm sleepy, and he still would get pissed off at me. You've got an asshole boyfriend.
NTA. I can't watch the first Batman movie, Michael Keaton, or Good Morning Vietnam without checking out. I always sleep real good for some reason.
Not the asshole. Sweetheart, I've fallen asleep at the cinema. Tears of joy, tears of joy, tears of joy when my then boyfriend would take me to see his much beloved action films. He found it amusing. Another boyfriend of mine would ask me, what movie do we want to fall asleep to tonight? I would be alert because getting mad over something like that might be a red flag. My ex-girlfriend used to get so mad at me for falling asleep during movies, but I would do it a lot to be fair. Haha, not the asshole, but it's a common problem in relationships as far as I'm aware.
Not the asshole and run. Run like you mean it. If he gets upset now, in the rose-tinted glasses stage of your relationship, over you being tired and falling asleep during a movie you did not like, I don't want to begin thinking about his expectations in the future.
Not the asshole. Boyfriend sounds really fragile and manipulative. Reconsider this relationship. Also, what movie was this? Not related, but I'm curious.
Not the asshole. He's 29. He needs to grow TFU. Not the asshole. Boyfriend is a big baby. Not the asshole. Does he have the mentality of a 5-year-old? I remember doing that as a kid when my mom fell asleep watching a kiddie movie with me.
Not the asshole, and he seems very immature. You were tired and fell asleep and he only cared about himself and let you hurt your neck, along with him having to pick the movie even though it was your turn. On top of that, he wants you to feel bad. You need to rethink this relationship. He seems like a total narcissist.
Bless you. I had a boyfriend treat me the same way. Everything was a sign of me not caring about him. Falling asleep while watching TV, reading Facebook on the sofa instead of watching Duck Dynasty on the sofa. I did care about him, but that level of insecurity and scrutiny of every action was exhausting. I'm now happily married to someone who doesn't manipulate me into feeling sorry for him all the time. It's glorious.
Not the asshole. If I had a nickel for every time I fell asleep in front of a movie, my Netflix subscription would pay for itself. Your boyfriend is a childish prat.
Not the asshole, but he might not be either. Could he be acting out because he feels you don't show interest in other things he likes or are important to him, and possibly boring to you? You mentioned him saying you don't love him and are neglecting him. This seems like it might have been pent up, and no, he didn't pick the best moment, or the most mature way of handling his feelings, but it seems like there might be a lot more under the surface. All these people saying dump him need to chill out. They shouldn't base your partner on one interaction you guys had. People are complicated and often not great at knowing how to talk about what's really bothering them, and they act out. Just talk to him, ask him to explain why this bothered him so much, really try to figure out what's going on with him.
NTA. This is a really big red flag. Tell him this is unacceptable. If he refuses to change, then I'm afraid if you stay, you will hate your life. That's childish and manipulative. I know it hasn't gotten this bad, but sleep deprivation is an abuse tactic my ex used to play with me. I worked overnight, so when it was my day off I would fall asleep. He pulled the same shit your boyfriend did. No, get OOOOOUUUUUUUT.
NTA. If he thinks that falling asleep during a movie it's neglect, I don't want to imagine what else he sees that fall in that category. Also was a bad thing that he left you sleeping in the couch instead of waking you up to go to bed. That's very telling from him.
Location flag: not the asshole, but run away from this relationship if he thinks you falling asleep equates to neglect and won't accept your completely unnecessary apologies.
NTA. That's a pretty immature reaction on his part. Especially because he pushed you to watch a movie you didn't want to on your night to pick.
Not the asshole. You're not the first person to fall asleep during a movie, and you certainly will not be the last. But I will say this, if your boyfriend sees that you're neglecting him for falling asleep during a movie and now won't accept your apologies, honestly, I cannot see why you should apologize in the first place. That is a pretty big red flag in my eyes, because what will he get really mad about?
Not the asshole. He's really manipulative and rude. You were tired, it's not a big deal, and you have nothing to apologize for. He just wants to make you feel bad. You should really reconsider your relationship if he's going to act this way.
NTA. Not the asshole. My boyfriend falls asleep during 80% of movies we watch together. It doesn't impact my ability to watch the movie, so where's the harm?
Not the asshole. What even is his logic? He thinks you shouldn't be woken up because you chose to go to sleep. Lol. He sounds manipulating and controlling. If this kind of thing happens a lot, I would maybe start reevaluating the relationship.
Not the asshole. My boyfriend would definitely probably just laugh and possibly turn off the movie. Definitely not the asshole, though. It wasn't his turn to pick the movie. You could have said no, it's my turn. In the middle of the movie, you could have said I'm not interested, I'm going to bed. He should have let you have your turn. He shouldn't be critical of you falling asleep. TLDR, his reaction is wrong, but you enabled him by letting him have his way.
ETA. He sucks for claiming neglect. You suck for thinking it's his responsibility to wake you up on the couch. You're an adult.